Welcome, TTRPG enjoyers. We're here for a really fun session of Pokemon Lazio Island League, Session 3. Love this campaign. It's going to be a very roleplay heavy session. It's just going to be a lot of fun, give you guys a chance to unwind and check out the world. Is anyone confident to give us a little recap? Where were we? What were we doing? If you don't know, that's okay.
No, I think of it. Oh, you got it?
I got this.
You got this. Hit me with it.
Okay, so we were in Viterbo, and we had all split up, and we all did a bunch of things. Somebody got blasted by a Team Rocket goon. I talked to a nurse that doesn't really seem like a nurse. Edward Cope went on a nice little walk, and we all reconvened to do a job, clear out the forest of strange trees. We went to go clear out those trees. Somebody got slapped by a tree, and then we started fighting a bunch of Bonsleys, and one of those Bonsleys was actually a shiny, and it was pretty cool. After a very hard-fought battle, where Zyba almost got pummeled into the ground by baby Bonsleys, we recovered ourselves and won without a sweat at all, totally. And then we went to the electric plant, and at that electric plant we encountered a strange Pokemon that forced its mind powers to link with Mezzaluna, and Mezzaluna saw some terrible things. And I think that's all that happened, right?
Yeah, roughly. You guys got to experience, Mezzaluna got to experience a fortune told by Azatu, which is, as far as you can tell, Viterbo's it's like their native bird. They have it everywhere. Anyway, you guys headed back to the city, and that's where we're going to start off for this session. We come into the city of Viterbo, as I change up the music a little bit. Pidgey flies high overhead. Wind is nice and cool breeze. The sun is slowly setting over this beautiful Lazian day. Let's switch things up. Alright. We start off with Mezzaluna. Mezzaluna, you have traveled back into the city and gone back up to Mateo's little cooking shack. And as you approach, you and your Ghastly just kind of walking past the little pool. You see Mateo is gathering things up. It looks like he's maybe winding down for the day. What do you want to do?
Mesluna's going to go up to the counter and say, hey Mateo, you closing up?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close. I have to wind down and prepare for tomorrow. It usually takes about an hour, and then I usually just serve the stuff I have pre-made while I get ready. What are you up to?
Just got back in town. I think everyone's kind of relaxing now. Do you need any help closing down?
He kind of looks up, kind of surprised. Oh, you wanna help? I don't really have any money I could pay you with.
Oh, don't worry about it. I don't need help. My parents are cooks, so pretty used to closing down kitchen stuff, so I wouldn't mind helping.
That'd be really sweet. Yeah, come on over. And he opens up this wood panel over here that blocks off people, and you can walk in, and you see that as you come into his little stall, it's meticulously prepared. He's got fruits and vegetables in one corner, baking goods, stuff for soups and sauces, and he starts putting away some of the plates and cups, and he says, well, I need to dice the vegetables for tomorrow. Are you any good with a knife?
Oh, yeah. It's one of the first things my parents taught me.
He smiles, and he's like, that's awesome. Well, come over here, and I'll show you. And he comes over to his side, and he pulls out a cutting tray, and he pulls out his knife and his vegetables, and he says, if you could dice those for me, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't mind at all.
Cool. And he kind of gives you a little bit of a side look before he goes back down and starts gathering stuff up. So you're a Pokemon trainer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty fresh on it. I spend more of my time focused on music though.
Oh, I love music. What kind of music?
Well, it's a genre I learned about from the Johto region known as Visual Kei. It's kind of like gothic, but a lot more showy. Kind of mix glam rock with goth music.
That sounds really interesting. I'd love to listen to it sometime. How long have you been playing?
Well, a few years now. My parents moved to the Johto region to expand their reach with their restaurant, and I only recently came back just to try to spread a lesser known music style to the rest of the world, and wanted to start with where I grew up. So yeah, it's been a passion of mine for a while.
That's awesome. I wish I could play music, but my music is here with these various apples, fruits, and bits and bobs. While he's like kind of gathering things up and winding down, would you make me a survival check just to see how well you can dice them fruits? See if you don't completely mangle them. Or
Yeah, I will.
see how this
My
actually
survival
goes.
is terrible.
you totally lied to get your way into this stall. That's okay. I'll give you a +1 because you do have a backstory relating to being good at this. Well, let's just say you're more interested in what Mateo is saying than what's going on with these vegetables. He doesn't really notice or say anything. He doesn't really seem to care either. He keeps gathering things up, and he says, "You know, I could never be a Pokemon trainer. I feel like, I don't know, the Pokemon here are just so wild and violent. Most of us are told we shouldn't really leave the city."
You know, I think it takes a lot of it takes a lot of no, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I've always had a special connection with Pokemon. I've been weird. I've always seemed to understand them a bit more than others. So I've wanted to take that ability to connect with Pokemon and use it to my best advantage. And if that means taking care of Pokemon that are a bit more feral than other places may have, then so be it.
Makes sense. I mean, you just seem like the type of person to not really be afraid. I like that. And would you make me a perception check real quick?
Absolutely. Hold on. I closed my thing, even though I shouldn't have. That's a 4.
You don't really notice, but it looks like you saw him slide food off the table. Intentionally. You hear something like munching. But you're not really sure. You'd have to walk around and look.
Messaluna is going to perk his head up and kind of look around to see what the munching is.
You lean over the table and you see you see Nocturne absolutely destroying a piece of bread.
Messaluna starts laughing, especially because he knows that Nocturne didn't steal this bread.
Yeah, no, Mateo definitely fed it to him, and Mateo sees you looking, and he just kind of he blushes a little bit and goes back to what he was doing and pretends he didn't do it.
Messaluna's going to kind of look down at the vegetables he's been chopping and make a kind of face he knows that he hasn't been paying attention. He's
Mateo
maybe I'm a bit out of practice.
He finally checks in on you and your vegetables and sees that you've just kind of cut them into circles, you kind of we're making little shapes, dicing them randomly, and he just kind of is oh, I mean, that's okay. Do you want me to maybe help? I could show you.
If you don't mind, I'm a bit more skilled with a bow, not bow and arrow, but violin bow than a knife these days.
He scoots in right next to you, bumps you over just a little bit, and takes the knife, and he kind of shows you how to cut the vegetables. He's here, you try. And when you take the knife, he makes sure that you're holding it the right way by like positioning your hand. And you could see he's being a little sly here.
Mezzaluna is going to try his best to focus, and cut the vegetables a bit better than before.
Roll survival again.
Roll survival
yes,
again.
with a +3 this time.
Nice.
I'm just seeing if anyone needs to go to the hospital with this vegetable cutting incident. Yes!
Oh, let's go!
You rolled high above your weight class, and you realize that you have never cut vegetables right, as you absolutely are slicing and dicing these things faster and more accurately than before. And Mateo smiles, and he just says, that's going to make a good soup. And he moves back over and starts preparing. And at this point, you guys take the next hour to prepare, cook, and put away various things as we zoom over to Mr. Edward Cope. Mr. Cope, you've traveled a little southward into town. You find yourself standing before Lorenzo. Lorenzo, from what you can tell, is a friend or relative of Zyva's, and he generally has this mean demeanor. And he looks at you and says, "What can I do for you?"
Howdy there. So, I'm not trying to put you in any particular category, but you do have like a scrap and like a couple extra parts for sale, maybe?
I mean, yeah, we usually can spare some various parts. It depends on what you need. What do you want?
Okay, this is going to be a little weird because I don't have anything particular in mind, but I actually wanted to run a simple experimental setup, if you don't mind. Anyway, what I'm looking for in particular is 3 things total, but of 2 types. The first one is 2 magnets. The magnets should be of comparable strength. You could probably get most of them off of a disassembled motor, but maybe. But they should be strong enough for the last thing I need, which is a handbag of metal powder, maybe metal filings. I was basically strong enough that at like a few inches off of a surface, the magnets will pick up the metal filings off a table. I would like both of those. I don't know if you have something like that in the back, or maybe this is a really weird request and order, but I thought you were a supplier, and this is a customer's demand.
Alright, yeah, there's no problem with any of that. I mean, most of this stuff is fairly simple. As far as the metal filings go, I'll probably be able to get something like that from Reggie. He's been working on the power plant. I guarantee there's sheared metal. And a magnet, also the power plant. Yeah, this is one trip for me. This is fine. 50 pokey.
I hand over 50 pokey and I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can make it look nice, I'm going to be taking some photos of the whole setup once I'm done. Please and thank you.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. What was your name again?
Dr. Edward Cope. Pleasure to meet you. More formally, I mean. Your cousin seems nice.
Zyva? Yeah, he's one of the elders. We trust him a lot. Well, we have a big family, so the older cousins, the older brothers, they look out for the younger ones.
Oh, yeah. No, that's real great. I kind of like am a little bit awkward because it's been a minute since I've seen my younger brothers in the region here. I've never really had to worry about them because they've always been like jumping between prep schools and all that. But yeah, little different, I guess.
Where are you from?
I gotta check the map. Roma.
He narrows his eyes at you and he goes, "Yeah, you kind of smelled like you had money."
Listen, I've been abroad for a while, and you know what? I'm here, local, and I'm trying to bring what I've learned abroad here, and maybe try to make the place better. I really am, truthfully. I want nothing but the best for the Lazio region, and I mean that for everyone. And I sort of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and say, try not to, I should point out there's no one else in the Cope name that's a doctor.
he kind of like gives you an odd look, and he's like, a lot of people come to Lazio and say that they're going to fix our problems. This Dr. Destino guy is literally begging people to show up, and if you're who's coming to save us, I don't know, man. Just keep your nose to the ground, and discretion is, well, it might save your life. That's all I'm saying.
I'm like thoughtfully nodding, and then I will say, a good science is led by good observations. And you have been here longer than I have. What would you say are the biggest problems in the Lazio region? What would you want to be solved first versus what might an appearance say needs to be fixed first?
He crosses his arms and he kind of closes his eyes and thinks for a second, well, I can't really complain about the first thing because I heard you guys brought the power back. So thank you. But
Appreciate it. I give like a little quick nod.
if I were to make a request, it would be something along the lines of, and he leans forward and just whispers dead into your ear, kill Mr. Ativita. And he looks at you again and says, that's the only way you're getting out of this.
You see that, Doctor? Like I was like taking like notes, like I was like and like after like I finished putting a period at the end of that sentence, I kind of like look up and I'm like, thank you. And I just go close my notebook and say, I'll pay you half now and half when the delivery's done. How does that sound, there, pal? And I'll keep my nose clean, as you said.
Didn't Shorty give him 50 pokey?
Yeah. Well, I'm paying in full. I'm fine with paying in full.
He nods and says, pay in full. You'll get your stuff.
I trust you. I know how to chase you down. Take care, big pal. I'm trying not to keep you up too late.
As you walk away, you get an odd sensation that he was like, actually roll perception. I forget there are dice that we need to account for.
Math walks.
He's definitely talking to someone when you walked away.
I'm gonna put kind of a confused look over my face, and I'm just gonna kind of stare at the piece of paper with that name. What's the name again of the person he said to kill?
I'll type it in chat. Mr. Ativita.
Mr. Atavita. I'm just gonna sort of like meditate, be like, this is it's very intense to tell someone to murder someone else on your second meeting. So I'm just like, this really has to mean something to this person. Or maybe they're trying just to rattle me. I don't know. Like, I'm just like, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, you definitely feel walking away from it. That was a very strange encounter. Are you going to go up to Reggie's to get paid?
Yeah,
or is
yes.
that a separate trip?
Yes, please, but someone else can hop in if you want to do that.
I mean, that's okay.
Or,
This should be fairly quick. You're up Reggie's butt. There you go. You walk up to the door, give it a knock, and out walks big old Reggie. Hey, if it isn't my absolute favorite contractor, what can I do for you, Mr. Cope?
do you want to take a look at this?
I absolutely do. What do you got for me?
I found you a problem.
Oh, what is this little guy? What is this thing? What is this little guy?
I'm gonna kind of like lean in. And I'm gonna say, I know it's really bad right now, but I want you to try to hide. I know there's like not a lot of cover, but just give me your best. Give me your best.
You hear the Bonsly making like terror noises, and he just kind of walks over here, and he just gets in the flowers, and he just stands there.
Camouflage. It wasn't trees at all. It was Pokemon. That's why we could move them so easily.
He's gonna display this by using Copycat, and a rough rock shell forms around him that looks just like the flowers that he's sitting in. And he goes, "Oh my god! Wow! Well, I had a feeling it'd be Pokemon. I never run into a tree that I couldn't saw down before. I'm surprised they didn't attack me. They would have killed me."
way more defensive type, I guess. That's the reason why they hide for many hours of the day.
It's so
But
cute.
it is. There
Pets
was
its little ball things on its head.
I will say that there was a pseudo-Rudo hiding amongst them that could have given you a little bit more trouble there. But no, they've been relocated, and you should find the plant easy to access now. Relatively easy to access.
Well, hey, thank you for your service. You know, I've always said, hire good people and you'll get good work. So here's the money, and he hands you 400 Poke to be distributed to your team. And he says, there's not much else I really need to do today. We're just winding down for dinner, and one more thing. You should swing by the city around nightfall. There's gonna be quite the little show as all the lights come on. It's been a couple of days and the people were scared, so they're having like kind of a gathering.
That'd be wonderful. I'd love to see the fruits of our labor. Oh, and I just have one last thing, if you don't mind me asking.
What's up?
I have been thinking about things, and pending some experiments, I might need let's call it a consultation for a potential power generation scheme. It's still very preliminary, and that's the reason why I kind of want some discussions. But I would love someone who is maybe versed in the safety and regulations of the region to make sure my diagrams are up to snuff, maybe?
Well, I do know more about the power flow through this country than most people, but, you want to learn about the grid? Why do you want to learn about the grid?
I'm not judging here, but I kind of saw Voltorb all strung up there, and it really looked a bit sad, if I'm being honest.
Wait. There was a Voltorb there?
I believe so. The thing that's pertinent is that when I look at my Pokemon, when I see these battles, I see them actually put their all into it. They sometimes expend what would be the equivalent of millions of calories over the course of just minutes of fighting. What I was wondering is that maybe it's absurd, but what if you could combine a power plant with a Pokemon arena? What if you could siphon the excess energies the Pokemon use during battle in order to power the countryside? I know it's a little absurd, but I really do think that this could be beneficial to both, because, let's be honest, it's absurd to tell everyone to keep their lights off, I feel, and if what it takes to keep them on is Pokemon's suffering, then what if we could maybe find something that's beneficial to both humans and Pokemon?
Well,
it's just a thought.
I do want to explain one thing. That Voltorb is not supposed to be there. That Voltorb is not supposed to be providing power to the city. We use Magnemite. The Magnemite give the power freely. The discharge is part of the natural cycle. When they breed, they discharge massive amounts of electricity and it's stored. But something pushed them to leave. And for whatever reason, that Voltorb took their place. You'd have to ask the Voltorb. I don't know why he was there, but that's definitely not how we do things. We don't hurt Pokemon for power. It's not like it used to be. But
and I'm just gonna rub my head and be like, well, just shouldn't be happening in the first place. But I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean when we say we have to be better than this.
Yeah. Well, I like your idea. It's interesting. Pokemon do generate a lot of power when they're fighting, and there's a lot of ways to generate power. From heat, from electricity. I would say your best bet's in Chavita Vikia. They got their electric type Pokemon is their specialty. We had called for help from them before we had asked for you, and we'd heard no answer. So, if you ever get on the road, you get to Chavita Vecchia, check it out.
Well, if I am planning on going home, I'm going to have to walk through there anyways. But no, that sounds brilliant. Thank you very kindly, and appreciate the payment and all the work so far. Of course, if you need any more, if you have any more, feel free to, you know where to find us, and you know what you know what our ragtag crew looks like. So,
Well, hey, it's about time someone did something around here. I feel like we're paying this Mr. Ativita guy for no reason, I just wish we could have a real mayor. Someone to get some shit done.
you're saying Mr. Atavita isn't a real mayor, or I'm new here, so I'm sorry, I should not be saying this so loudly.
You see him like go pretty pale, and he goes, well, if I have any more jobs for you, I'll let you know. And he closes the door.
I'm just gonna noted. Just gonna kind of. All I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull out my little notebook and I'm just gonna highlight the name Mr. Ativita and just kind of like mayor ?
Your Bonsley goes up to you, and he seems a little uncomfortable in this big city. Bon. Just kind of wandering around your feet.
I give it a rubbing, and then I'm gonna pull it back into its Pokeball, so it can just be doesn't have to worry about like a flying type swooping down and grabbing it.
Yeah, you return your Bonsley back to his spherical prison, and at this point, we pan over to Zyva and Marigold. You stand before the Poke Center. Zyva, your ribs are broken. You've got several cuts and scratches and bruises. You've been through the ringer. Both of your Pokemon are a little worse for wear. So, you guys, I assume with some assisted walking, head into the Poke Center.
Yeah, actually, assisted walking for Marigold, she is dragging Zyva by the ear, scolding him along the way.
Assisted dragging.
Assisted dragging, she's scolding him the entire time. Well, you've got a lot of nerve throwing yourself in danger like that. What were you thinking?
I'm fine, I promise. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I just broke a few ribs.
She's as a medical professional, she's taken aback. Just a few broken ribs? Do you know how severe that is? You could die from this.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
you make that noise as you walk through, and the angle, the way you're dragging him, it just kind of looks like you're the one that did this to him. And you see Nurse Joya just raise her hands and go, "Oh my God, what's happening? What's wrong with him?"
Hey, Nurse Joya.
Clefairy. Or not Clefairy. Chansey. My God, all these Pokemons. Runs over, and she knows immediately when you're injured. It's almost like she has a sixth sense for it. She puts her hand on yours, and it's like a little bit of morphine. Like you just feel just a little bit better. And she helps kind of like move you. And kind of like get under your arm as support. I wasn't expecting you until tomorrow, Marigold. What is happening?
I'm sorry, I was gonna come back tomorrow, but my friend here seems to think it's funny to throw himself in front of the bunch of Pokemon that are trying to attack us. I'm just here to
It's
patch him up.
necessary.
Necessary? We had a lot of other things we could have done. We could have ran. As a medical professional, I cannot recommend that you throw yourself in front of us like that.
In Pokemon battles, it's typically you have the Pokemon fight for you, I thought.
Well, I'd rather me get hot than my little buddies get hot.
Fair enough. We need to treat this right away. Come with me. And all of you guys are going to be slowly, carefully, gingerly escorted up to the top floor. And as you guys are brought up, you walk in and you see a Meowth laying kitty style on the bed, right on the pillow, and he looks like he's snoozing. He's got a big snot bubble. And she walks over and she's Zyva. She guides you right to the bed, and there's no resisting this. You can roll to resist if you want, but you notice that Nurse Joya is a little bit stronger than she looks.
I'm good.
Yeah. She lays you down. She looks at you and kind of looks over your body and at the various damage, and she starts prepping a cart with various medical supplies. Would all of you make a perception, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was gonna check it
Is she
out.
about to do me a lobotomy or something?
I'm gonna give you actually a +1 to this, Marigold, because I feel like you would be paying special attention to this particular person based on what you've heard and what she's done in front of you.
All right, so it's a 9.
Zyva, you're in too much pain to really notice, but Marigold, you watch and you see as she reaches up to her shirt, she holds like a necklace, some sort of amulet, and she like closes her eyes for a moment and whispers something to herself. And you could have sworn you saw a little bit of light, but you're not sure what that was. And then she looks at Zyva and gives him the most expert medical care you've ever seen out of her. You see her treat him as though he were not her 1000th patient. She disinfects all the wounds, all the cuts and scrapes. She applies a potion to the broken ribs, mends them with bandages, and then uses more futuristic technological version of an X-ray to check your ribs. And she says, well, they will set. The potion should be able to correct any of the fractures. You're just going to need a couple of days, some bed rest. Don't go punching any Pokemon or getting punched.
No promises.
Okay. But I'm going to leave you two for a little bit. I'll be back in a little bit once I've taken a better look at your x-rays, but I think you'll be alright. Oh, and this. She uses the potion on you, and you can regain 20 HP and 1 injury. And then she hands you a lollipop.
He takes a lollipop.
She walks away, and as she walks away, Marigold, you notice she's kind of quick walking a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, perhaps I was wrong about her. She seemed to know what she was doing.
What do you mean?
Well, the last time I was here, she was a little... How do I say it without being rude? Scatterbrained. She didn't really seem like she knew what she was doing. Don't get me wrong, she had nurse level of medical expertise, but nothing to be running a clinic on her own.
He kind of grabs Zutu and puts him on his lap, kind of squishing him like a plushie, and just goes, so, she seemed a little unprofessional, is what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
I see. Well, I don't know. She at least treated me a little better, but thanks for taking care of me.
It's my job, after all. Speaking of, it's also my job to make sure that you don't do that again. So, and then she's gonna flex a little to try to intimidate you.
Take out the flashbang.
Flashbang!
Roll intimidation.
God, I forgot she was pathetic at this. So.
That might make it funnier. You do as good. You intimidate the best that you can for being a Nurse Joy. Yeah, you hear your muscles pop.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't want to see you in any more trouble.
I'll try not to be, but again, I can't let them get hurt.
I understand the sentiment, but you shouldn't be letting yourself get hurt either. You're not always going to have a doctor around. You're not always going to have a Nurse Joy with you.
Alright. I guess alright.
I'll
see what I can do.
Marigold, you hear a cluttering downstairs. Just like a clambering noise. Something fell.
I'll be right back. Stay sitting. Don't move. No fighting. Stella, watch him.
Oh gods.
Chansey also watches you very carefully.
Oh, Utu also watches.
You're considered a high-risk patient.
fair enough. Not because I'm a risk to myself, but a risk to others as well.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. You come down the stairs, and the first thing you see is Nurse Joya, and she looks like she's having a difficult time. And by this, I mean physically. She looks like she's sweating a little bit. She looks tired. She looks like she's dropped a book that looked heavy. And she turns to, hello. I'm just cleaning up.
Are you okay? She's gonna move over, kind of ignoring her greeting because she's worried more about her health.
She stands up and like hoists the book to her chest. Would you roll me medicine?
Yeah. My favorite one to roll.
I know. Any opportunity for medicine is a good one. Oh yeah, she's full of shit. She looks like she just ran a mile. She looks like she has exerted herself severely. And she says, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. I was just reorganizing. Her voice is kind of wavering. You can tell that there's something up. Oh, I have to roll deception for her. I forgot I'm on the hook for this as well.
All right.
Yeah, there's no way she's gonna beat a 15. You can tell that she's absolutely lying to you.
Are you sure, Nurse Joya? You look very, very exasperated.
She just kind of gives you a smile and says, We have to work. There would be no one else to do what I do. You don't understand. You're not a local. You don't know what it's like. I can't explain.
I suppose I don't, but you're not going to be able to escape my expert eye. I can tell something's not okay if you're pushing yourself this hard. You should take a break. I'd be willing to help you.
Come with me. And she leads you over to her little station, and she reaches behind it and pulls out a big book. And from what you can tell, it's like a picture album. And she flips it open and goes through all the pages, and you can see pictures of her and her mother. And then, as she flips the page, her mother is gone. And you see her at that same age with a bunch of children, all of whom look poorly taken care of, almost malnourished, very little food and clothing in front of like a really damaged old building. We all lost our parents around the same time. There were people who did not agree with how things were going, and my parents were one of those people. We have been taking care of this town since we were very young. I don't know how to express to you how dangerous it is for me to tell you this. I do not know any medicine. And she reaches into her shirt and pulls out like a medallion, and it's like little blue, like topaz, like a little gem, just on a cheap string. And she says, with this I can glance things ahead of time. I can see what is going to be wrong with someone and treat them. But if the incubation period is longer than what I can see into the future, then I can't help them, because I won't know how to treat them because I can't see it. But Zaiva knew what the x-rays were going to look like. I knew what you were going to tell me and how to help him. So I just followed your instructions that you never gave me. And she scratches her head and says, I sound insane, don't I? I'm sorry, it's a thing from my family. It's a very well-kept secret.
Oh, jeez. Well, it's certainly a difficult situation to understand, but I don't think you're insane. I mean, I watched it myself. You went from, and no offense, you went from not too great to extraordinary in the blink of an eye.
She smiles and says, yes, this is what I really can do. this is the most that I can do. We all try to help in different ways, but we are the lost generation. All of our parents. There are very few elders left. No job is ever really done here. Most of the older siblings are now raising their younger siblings. We have no clear future. All I know is that these people and these Pokemon need my help.
Well, geez, there's no fault in what you've done. I mean, you've put everything you've had into taking care of this town. You're as much as of a nurse joy as any other. But what happened? Who did your parents oppose?
Her face goes pale. And with that, we're gonna pan over to Zyva. At this point, Zyva, you are surrounded by Pokemon who are all up in your shit. At this point, Chansey sees that you're not going to cause any trouble and that Clef is going to hold down the fort. So she goes over and keeps an eye on Meowth. And you have some bonding time with Utu. And he is just kind of crawling around you, kind of looking at you. And he looks like he might be sorting around for some berries or food or something.
Can I take out like a beef jerky or something like that? Or
Yeah.
some food?
Your pack is like next to the bed, and you reach down and you grab him some food, and you feed it to him. Would you roll Pokemon education?
Of course, one moment.
You
That
feel
is
like
10.
you feel like it is of a natural inclination to want to like climb and make a nest, and that you can see that while not being able to make a nest, it's a little uncomfortable. So it's trying to like nest on you, and it's kind of like wrapping itself up in blankets and stuff. But with that roll, we will also reveal another feature of its personality. Would you roll me a D100?
Of course. $61.
You can see that Utu is very adaptable, despite the fact that this isn't a situation where it is at ease. It's a very calm and collected Pokemon. You get the feeling that the only reason it attacked you was to defend its family. It's very much a nesting Pokemon and really enjoys being around the family that it builds. And you can tell that it's going to be a very devout Pokemon. I completely forgot the Pokemon Center music. Now I get to put you all to sleep with this lovely lullaby.
He looks
Go ahead.
looks down at O2 and just says, "Sorry about earlier, buddy. Promise won't happen again." And he just gives a little pet.
Its mandibles chitter and it crawls up on you and closes its eyes and starts falling asleep on your chest. And it's very careful about your injury. It's got a very gentle step, and it just kind of passes out there with you. And at this point, yeah, Pokemon cuddles, the one thing we all wish we could get out of this. Well, one of the things. And at the last bit of instance of this, she whispers the name to you, Marigold. Mr. Ativita. And with that, we go back to the beginning. It is assumed that you guys will be in the Poke Center for a couple of hours, chopping vegetables for a couple of hours, shopping for a couple of hours. But at some point or another, you guys are going to meet up. So I'm going to take us back out to Porto di Viterbo. And until you guys, head towards the square to meet up with Mezzaluna. And zoom back there for a second. And I turned on this Pokemon Center music for all of 5 seconds, so that I could just turn it off again. You guys are just finishing cutting up the vegetables. You guys have basically prepared everything for tomorrow, and he is just now closing, like, there's like a big kind of like almost gate kind of cover on his stall to keep Pokemon from getting in and snatching all the food. And he steps outside and locks it. He says, Meslin, I really appreciate you taking the time. Like, this is a really hard task for me, and since I lost my parents, this has basically been all I do every day. I don't really get to have fun anymore, and this was kind of fun.
Well, I mean, it's no problem at all. I honestly really admire that you're able to do all of this while, outside. I've always been, cooking inside, and everything's been closed off from other Pokemon. So to see you able to do this and have such like a successful business while being pestered by birds, like, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the easiest thing to do, but I like it. I'm in the center of town and everyone comes and sees me, and I used to cook for a lot of people, and I never really wanted to give that up. But if you ever want to, like, if you ever want me to cook just for you, I'd be into that.
I think I'd like that a lot. But I think the first thing I want to address is the fact that you don't get to have fun anymore. Since everything's closed down, I mean, you know this town better than me. You mind showing me around?
I think I'd like that. Maybe, we can go to the beach.
That'd be really nice.
Okay. I'd like that too. And at this moment, we're gonna put you guys all in town square. Marigold and Zyva, you see Mr. Cope walking down the street towards you. Zyva, at this point, your ribs still hurt, but you're a tough motherfucker. Like, this is not gonna get you down for very long, and you appreciate all these people kind of fawning over you, but you know your body, and you're alright.
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys all meet up.
Perfect.
Hey, Cope. How you doing, man?
I'm doing quite well. Actually, I got some of this for you, so I'm going to hand out the other shares of the reward at this point.
Alright, yeah.
Again.
You got Marigold and Zyva, you guys get 100 Poke. And,
Yes.
would you 3 roll perception for me?
Sure, 1 second.
What do my special eyes see?
Tens. 8. Pretty much all of you look south, and you see Mezzaluna and Mateo, and what looks like flirting. What do you guys want to do?
Cyber just kind of smirks a little bit and just goes, man, it really is a player, huh?
No, I'm just gonna like give like a nod and just be like, good for them, honestly. The place like this, come on. They can be anywhere in any place, and sometimes at a food stall in little town Lazio.
At this point, Mateo looks over and he just kind of goes, "Oh, aren't those your friends?" And they're all looking at you.
Messaluna looks over and sees literally everyone looking at him, and his face just flushes red. He's like, yeah, those are my friends. Anyways, hi guys.
All right, now you guys are all together. Mateo goes with you.
Oh.
I'm gonna
Oh.
hand over the 100 Poke. Orv is looking for you.
Oh, thank you. He puts it away.
Mateo, like, eyes wide, and he's like, "That's more than I make in a day." Wow.
Oh,
It pays pretty good to be a Pokemon trainer, I guess.
it sure does at times.
It also helps when Pokemon are blocking the power plant and you're siphoning money from the local budget to be paid like that. But when it works, it works.
Thanks. Now I feel dirty for accepting this money.
You cannot get something from nothing. It's very simple conservation of energy.
With all the things happening in Lazio, I mean, is kind of all of the money dirty at this point? At one point or another, it all goes through, and he kind of like just kind of looks over his shoulder at the guarded building behind you guys.
GM, could you please indicate which guarded building? Because there's one that's locked and one that has like 2 people posted.
The one with the 2 people posted up front.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. Just thank you.
Right. Speaking of dirty, I was speaking to Nurse Joy, and there was a name mentioned of someone who doesn't seem very well liked here.
If you guys want to, talk more candidly, we should probably. Mezzalina, I don't want to, impose, but would your friends maybe like to go to the beach with us?
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Sands just a bunch of low walks anyway. That sounds excellent.
There are certain names easier to say outside of town. But let's go. I'll show you guys the way. And at this point, Mateo just starts heading south, and I didn't mean to accidentally bond your guys' 2 tokens together, but at this point, I'll just say he reaches out his hand.
Yeah!
I didn't mean to, slap your tokens together, but it seems to have worked out that way.
Mezzalina grabs his hand.
Canon.
Yeah, it happened. And you guys walk southwards.
Zyva just looks at the others and just goes, why does that always happen with Mezzaluna? And just
Too low.
and just walks down.
You guys walk through the city street, and it's just starting to get kind of dusky. There's that like red hue in the sky, and you see everyone's closing up shop. Most of the shops are already closed, but Lorenzo, the last man open, looks like he's just for once taking out product, maybe for a different type of clientele. And you guys head past, moving trucks and various buildings, just the calm, lazy streets. And now I need to remember which direction is the beach. Let me click around for a second. Okay, yeah, I was right. Mateo looks a little confused for a second. He thinks it's like this way. Now it looks like he's just dragging Mezzaluna behind him. He's a quick runner.
Maybe they're holding hands.
They are.
They are.
They are.
Alright. And now if you guys want to click the little pokey icon, you'll be magically transported to a faraway realm known as the beach.
Hey, the kid got to swim.
Yay!
Yeah, the kid got to swim. Yeah.
You got to swim!
I knew you guys would be fucking hype about that.
Let's
It's
go!
great. It's a good day.
This is a good day. You guys, I'm gonna throw down Marigold. You guys see a fisherman. He has his line cast about 10 or 15 feet out, and he looks like a 20-something kind of guy, and he's just focused on his fishing. He's just chilling, and you guys can do whatever you want to do. Wait, I have to skyrocket everyone real quick. Oh, there they go. They're just gonna start moving. Very nice. See a woman with pink hair. She looks like she's pacing around the beach and texting. Oh, there's no texting. She's writing a letter. I don't know what she's doing, but she's not texting.
Wait, so you're telling me you have futuristic hospital stuff, but we don't have cell phones?
Everyone has Pokédexes to that's their version of cell phones, and they're very expensive. They're very expensive in this world.
Got it.
That's fair.
But they also have invested deeply in the bicycle-based technology.
Yes, yeah, they're big bikers. At this point, Kabuto busts out of the Pokeball, screams through the sand, and jumps into the water. It's a rock-type Pokemon, but it's also a water-type Pokemon. So it just sits in the shallows and just buries itself a little in the sand and just absorbs all those nutrients.
Well, it's basking in the sun, and the subtle thing is that while it's buried like that, it actually has 2 false eyes on the top that actually are real eyes. That but they aren't false eyes anymore, I guess. But so it is actually able to like watch. So if like a Magikarp or something gets too close to it, it'll just like pounce on it.
Yeah, it's a predator at all times.
Yeah, but you just have to imagine this like jet black river rock just like pokes its head at you and then launches at you with like 4 giant pincers. It'd be a great time.
It's more than a little terrifying. But you know what it's doing. Nobody else is really thinking of it that way. But the second a Magikarp swims near it, everyone will know.
Well, it's more just like I'm gonna be like I love to sort of like sketch this stuff because obviously it's not like a perfect mirror of its environment. The fact that it has such an affinity for this area sort of speaks to me at least that it probably was its preferred locale. But yeah, otherwise I'm just gonna be like enjoying like the sun and let's just say like I'm starting this conversation on the other side of the sandcastle just because I maybe don't want to play my cards about how I don't respect the mafia yet.
Yes, there's a time and a place, and the time and place for this is we are going to take a brief tenor. We're going to come back at 12:05ish, and anyone who is on our break page, check out the art that got drawn for Mateo. This has been in the works. All right, we'll be back in 3. All right, and you guys are enjoying beach night. The sun is setting over this beautiful Tyrrhenian sea, and you just get this nice gleam of blue. And Mateo he's kind of like drifted off a little bit, like he's leaning on this rock and he's just staring into the sunset. What do you guys
Mesluna's gonna step a little closer to Mateo and watch the sunset beside him. For all this place doesn't have going for it right now, it sure is beautiful.
He smiles a little bit and he goes, "Yeah, it's that color because of the pollution."
Oh!
he just like lays his head on your shoulder at that. He's like, "Yeah."
Well, that's not as great.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
funny. I'm funny too.
Yeah.
This is actually the cleanest part of the waters around here. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but everyone here tries, and it's my home. I love it.
Oh, it is a beautiful place. Here, at least. But I think that in time, it could become beautiful again.
Oh. Yeah. I've always wanted to travel. I feel like feeding people was just my calling, but I don't know. I'd like to do more. I'd like to feed people in different places. Grow my family.
That's a really noble goal.
And lately it's just been Reggie. It's literally Reggie every day at noon. He shows up. He's like, "Where's my soup?"
Well, I mean, I assume it's pretty great soup. I didn't get a chance to try it.
You will. Would all of you roll perception for me?
Gladly.
Sure.
No.
Actually, can I have my Kabuto roll perception here, even if it can't do it? If that's someone rolling.
I mean, he may not. The thing is, if your Kabuto isn't like simultaneous communication with you as a person, so like if it notices something, it may not say anything.
That's fine.
All right, Mezzaluna, you notice 2 things. One, to your left, you see what looks like maybe a berry peeking out of that bush. And the other thing you notice is that it looks like the tide's coming in a little bit.
All right. Well, Messaluna's probably gonna go get that berry before the tide decides to get a little too close. And he kind of looks at Mateo's like, I see something over there. And he goes on over.
He like peeks his head around the rock and he's like, oh damn, you did see something.
Messaluna's gonna pick up the berry.
You find a total of 5 agua berries, which
Nice.
are used. It's a very bitter flavor, but a lot of Pokemon really enjoy it. To know more about it, you might need to ask a specialist, and Mateo kind of crosses his arms.
Mesaluna. Ooh, my push to talk wasn't working. Is it working?
It is. We hear you.
Okay, awesome. Mesaluna picks up the berry and turns around and holds it to Mateo. I was like, do you know anything about this?
Yeah, that's an agua berry. They make a ton of delicious drinks.
Well, maybe you'll have to make something for me then.
I'd be down for that. I mean, it's so rare to find like fresh berries right on the coast like that. Pretty lucky.
I say I've been pretty lucky all day today.
Huge blush. He looks totally flattered by that. He's like, yeah, me too. Today's a good day. I like the beach. I don't come down here very much.
Miss Luna has pocketed the berries. And goes closer to Mateo once more. Maybe we should come down here more often then.
We should. He just kind of like thinks for a second. He goes, didn't you just get in town?
Yes I did.
He like thinks. He's like, where are you gonna stay tonight?
I don't have any plans right now, actually.
Oh, I think the hotel's closed. Well,
Oh dear, whatever shall I do?
I actually don't have a good answer for that because I have a very, very small place. Your friends, are they adept campers?
That was
they
my
might
plan.
be. They might be. I know I'm not.
That was my plan.
Let's worry-
I was
let's-
going to enjoy the night under the stars.
Let's worry about that later. Yeah. I mean, you could always camp out. I was just thinking because it's like, you're new in town and I don't know. I just wanted to make sure you guys had somewhere safe to stay. You could stay outside. Just, try to stay near the city, near the lights. No escape. Where is Stella?
Stella said that! Oh, she's in the sandcastle.
With that, Stella is digging paws first into this sandcastle, and the kid who built it doesn't even look bothered. He doesn't seem to care very much.
He's just swimming.
Yeah, he's just swimming. And with him just swimming, would all of you roll me a quick perception?
Sure.
It's a rather intense music change.
None of you notice anything in particular. However, the wind begins to pick up just slightly, and the water begins to swell a little bit. And as it does, you guys see Jordan kind of start to look nervous, and his mom stops and steps towards him, and you see maybe just the briefest moment of panic in the mother's face before Jordan is swiftly and immediately sucked out to sea. And you see him you scream and reach out towards you guys.
Oh God, Jesus!
Let's actually race in there. It has a swim speed.
Everyone has one quick chance to react. Everyone can choose one action for either themselves or their Pokemon, but not both.
All right. Marigold is gonna drop everything she has and do what she's always dreamed to do. And she's gonna run into the sea and jump in.
Marigold, you jump in, and immediately you are swimming against the roughest current. It is pushing you back hard. And as well, what is your swim speed, Marigold? 2. So, yeah, it's reduced by 1. So it's reduced to 1, and I would say that's about how far you got. I don't know if you measured it, Bob. Can I move your guy 1 back? Okay, you got it.
Yeah, sorry. So it has a swim speed of 4, but I was also going to spend his action to run as well.
Okay, so let me draw out 6 for you. He was where?
Right there.
Yeah, he stops right about there.
There we go.
Isosceles Rex flies forward, swimming with incredible speed. And Marigold, you dive into this water, which is much colder than you expected. And everyone else's reactions.
I was also going to say, I also see how Isosceles Rex, as it's like, normally it swims quite like smoothly through the water, but it almost looks like it's like getting like punched by like ghosts or something. It's like swimming against turbulence as through the choppy current.
Yeah, it's given it everything it's got.
Can I make Utu throw a string shot as like a rope to the kid?
Absolutely. What is String Shot's range?
I don't know how to see that.
So if you double click it, by String Shot, you'll see status, cone, at will. It says cone 2. So its String Shot is not a direct like beam of string. It's more like a cone spray. It does have the ability to project something like that though. And it's just not one of its moves. And we're going to call it... Let me check its skills and see what was the most appropriate skill for shooting string out of your ass at high speed. Let's go with acrobatics. It's a feat of acrobatics. It can also move and then do that if you want. So it has a total of 4 overland, so it can get right up to the water and then shoot string out of its ass.
Oh my god, it has a 4d6 in acrobatic.
It's a feat for this thing to do this.
Okay, let's try this.
Yep, this is gonna be quite the high roll.
Okay, 16.
16. It fires a bolt of string out, and Jordan reaches up. Hold on one moment. Focus. No, it's not focus. We're definitely going to go with athletics. Are you quick enough to save yourself? Where is the roll? Give me the dice. There they are. 7. He was not quick enough to grab it. The string lands in the water. And finally, Mezzaluna.
Mezzaluna doesn't really know what to do. He actually screams. He's just kind of freaked out. He's not gonna run into the water himself. He's more just gonna honestly freak the fuck out. Maybe fumble for his Pokeball in any hopes of getting Nocturne out.
Mateo is at this point just like, he's like holding onto your shoulder, like in equal panic. Like your reaction has evoked an even deeper panic out of him, and you realize that like you've sent him into like a full-on panic attack.
Oh no!
And at this point, it is now the water's turn, and he's gonna get
Messaluna's having a panic attack too. It's fine.
Yep, it's fine. He's gonna get dragged out even further to sea. And at this point, you guys see something rise out of the water. Something absolutely massive. And you see this blue figure looming raise its head. And you see Lapras. And Lapras has caught this child, has landed against it. And Lapras kind of like pulls him up onto its back. And with this, you guys realize immediately that with Lapras being here, the danger is over. is you guys saved this Lapras in the very first episode, before the first episode, and it comes up right to the shallows, and Jordan is like crying and sobbing, and he's like reaching towards you, Marigold.
She is, without a word, gonna take the kid and swim back to shore, and she is extremely exhausted. She put everything she had into swimming, and it was nothing.
Marigold is like exhausted. You're all soaked. Your Pokemon are soaked, and Lapras just kind of looks at you all, and it bows its head, and then it just kind of starts to let the water carry it away.
I'm gonna give it a friendly wave as it as it goes. I think I'll appreciate the gesture.
You guys notice that like the water around it has like crystallized and formed a barrier, and the coastline now, the water has like it's got like a break wall stopping the waves from like pounding you guys. She disappears. Beach day.
No.
Beach day.
Beach day.
Marigold is gonna bring the kid to his mother and take out her medical supply and say, "Are you alright? Is everybody okay?"
Jordan's like spitting out water and coughing. And the mother's like, oh my god, you saved him, thank you so much. And she's like looking at me, she's like, I told you we weren't supposed to be swimming right now. He's like, give me a break. Do you want to like roll medicine and investigate him?
Yeah, she's gonna move forward. Well, frankly, we didn't do much. It was our Lapras friend. But, do you mind if I take care of the little boy?
She's like, yeah, please check on him.
Alright, she's taking out her med kit. That gives me a +10.
You said you're friends with that Lapras?
Yeah, I helped dislodge bottle. Jeez. That's 30, by the way. What was that water?
Damn.
Does that happen a lot here?
What did you say?
What was this deal with the water? Does that happen a lot here?
The water can be uncontrollable. It's been known to cause deep swells. It's supposed to be safe this close to the water, or this close to the beach. The water gets rougher every year. We clean that fountain every day just so he has a place to swim. While you're listening to this, you're checking him out. You know, you're listening to his breathing. It seems like he swallowed a bit of water, so there's like potential risk for pneumonia. He definitely needs to get as warm as possible as soon as possible, and like rest until they can check him out in the morning.
Alright. Marigold's gonna take out a heat blanket that she keeps inside her med kit. One of those like aluminum ones.
I love how
and wrap it
prepared
up.
she is.
And then she's gonna go to the mother. You should take him to Nurse Joya. He's gonna need a lot of rest. He's at risk of pneumonia and all kinds of sicknesses.
She sighs and says, okay, thank you. Seriously, I don't know what you did, but that Lapras just, I've never seen them act that way. And she picks up Jordan and puts him on her shoulder and says, I'm Sophia. I run a potion shop. If you guys ever need anything, please stop by.
Oh, of course, no thanks necessary. Can I get the little boy's name?
I'm Jordan.
Well, Jordan, you were very brave out there. I wish you good luck, safe recovery.
Mrs.
And then she's gonna give him a lollipop.
He takes it and he immediately unwraps it and puts it in his mouth. He goes, thanks, Nurse Joy.
And what did we learn?
He glares at you. And
He glares at Dr.
man.
Cope.
they both do.
Luna also glares at Dr. Cope.
I also glare at Dr. Cope.
Listen to your mama.
He caught that stink
Okay,
eye.
Cope. Not the time, my man.
Well,
Yo,
those right, you know.
you guys are something else. And you look up and you see the fisherman who you thought was sleeping this entire time. and he's kind of got his arms crossed, and he's just kind of looking down at you guys. Wow. You guys are, you know what? You're in need of a water Pokemon. And he's wearing like a red jacket, a red hat, brown pants, and he's like, you know, that could have been could have been pretty risky if that Lapras hadn't shown up.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, if you guys ever need tips with fishing and stuff, let me know. You guys seem like the type of people to return a favor. I'm pretty much a champion fisherman. Gonna be one of the best around, no doubt.
You're gonna be the very best?
Then
No one ever was?
He's like, yeah, I used to love that show. Anyway, you guys new in town? I've not seen, well, hey Mateo. Hey Joe. So, what's the deal?
Not really new, just returning.
Okay. Well, I'll see y'all around. You know, stay clear of that water. And he kind of tilts his head up at you guys and heads out. At this point, the reason, you know, you can tell he's leaving is the sun is almost set. And the last thing that was mentioned to you, people would be gathering in town. At this point, I'm going to give you guys some open roleplay time before you decide what you want to proceed with.
Mesaluna is still slowly calming down, even though the danger is over.
Mateo gives you a big hug. Like, he sees like all the breathing and like the fear, and like his instinct reaction is to like try to comfort you.
Mesaluna hugs him back very tightly, and as he does, he noticeably starts to calm down.
Wow.
I'm gonna walk up to... Sorry, go on, Fate.
He just said, wow. That's all.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to Nurse Joy and just go, hey, Marigold,
Yeah, yes? Can I help you?
you were really brave out there. Good job, like, honestly. I don't know
You...
if I could have done that.
Yeah, she's kind of beating herself up about that, actually. Because she feels like she couldn't do much there. I don't think so. I really need a water type. I should have been able to do something more. But you did spectacular. You and your new friend here.
That was all too, but... Hey. Don't beat yourself up, okay? We'll get your water type Pokemon, and... hell, they can be part of your team. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. I'm beating myself up over nothing. I'm gonna make the best Pokemon rescue team in the world. Just you wait.
Of course. We
Mateos.
also would need a flying type. That'd be good.
Mateo
And a
smiles
ground
and he
type.
says, your friends are really interesting.
They sure are.
At this, he kind of like leans in and says, I don't mean to interrupt, guys, but I'd said I'd give you some information, and I kind of been dreading that conversation, but like you guys kind of seem like you're here to help. You might need to know what's going on around here. Closer. And he kind of like gestures for you guys to come in like real close. Like he seems like he really wants to whisper all this shit.
Mesaluna gets even closer, despite not needing to.
Yeah.
Well,
He was already very close. He just gets closer.
he appreciates it. He kind of puts his arm around you. He said, all right, so if anyone seems hesitant to talk in the city, it's because they're being listened to. There's a Pokemon that hides in the shadow that reports to a even worse person. It's a Murkrow. You can listen to conversations and repeat them back in your voice. It's very terrifying to hear, but we all kind of know to just keep our noses clean and not talk about it. But the real issue is that there's a criminal organization running this town. top to bottom. No one can say anything. No one can do anything. And the gym leader who was here and protecting us is gone. We haven't seen him in months. We have no one. Even most of the adults are either dead or have moved on. The city is basically being run by a bunch of mobsters threatening teenagers. That girl who was with Jordan, that was not his mom. That's his older sister. We all had to shoulder this burden. It's not about money for us, but if you meet someone who's greedy, just know that they're probably trying to feed someone. It's those guys in black coats.
Is the main culprit a man called Atavici?
Atavita.
Atavita, sorry.
It's a fake name. He gave it to himself. It means Mr. Activities. He used to be the fucking activity director here for the safari. This whole place, this whole country was supposed to be just a continent-wide safari. Built for tourism, built to bring people in. But it hasn't been that. It never was. From the very beginning, they started changing our laws and hurting us in different ways. And he looks like he's about to start crying.
I will say, Cyber looks like he's about to shiver. Like he is shaking a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This Mr. Activity Director, he's going down. He destroyed Nurse Joya's family. And she's my family. Albeit very extended. We're related. And I'm not gonna let that slide.
He kind of just this is all kind of like a group huddle, and he kind of just leans into it and relaxes a little bit. And Mesluna, you're closer to him, so you can kind of tell that this was a huge thing for him to hear. Thanks.
Mezzaluna puts an arm around him as well. And says, "It's no problem. I mean, despite this not being my hometown, it's heartbreaking to see this all happening."
We should get to the inner city before the lights go up. People are going to expect us there, and I feel like I don't want anyone to suspect me.
Got it.
Alright. So you guys head back in town. Give me a brief moment. I'm going to pause gameplay real quick while I set some stuff up. I had Joe on that screen the whole time. I like the little actor thing where they pop up like it's like a visual sim, but I always forget they're there.
Yeah.
Didn't know I was just going to be here to depress you, did I? Or did you?
I love
Kid
Beach
almost
Day.
died.
Beach Day. There's always going to be that underlining, things are not what they seem.
I wanted that damn berry, by the way. I'm still salty about that.
What berry?
The berry found in the
guava berry.
grass.
I mean, I left
You
it
think I
up.
forget?
I left it up there, and anyone could have rolled, or even just said, "I'm gonna go pick those berries."
Okay, fair enough.
I only had you guys roll perception because I felt like you were waiting for me to yeah, go ahead. But no, if you guys ever see berries on the map, fucking go for them. They're I will hide the fuck out of them. But if you spot them, you spot them.
Also, I love the crabbies.
Yeah, the crabbies.
You guys could have chilled with them, beat them up. They're there. Pokemon are in the world, hanging. All right, and we're gonna draw back to unpause. Unpause. And you guys can click back onto the city, and I'm gonna take all your little tokens that were by the lake. drag you guys up a little bit. Separate you. Oh, you duplicated. Is that what everyone else is seeing? No,
I don't
you
see
didn't
that.
duplicate. Never mind. Yeah, you guys start heading into the center of town. We're gonna for the ease of it. Y'all gonna get drag and dropped. Yep. You can now fly through buildings. Flight mode engaged. There are not as many people as you expected outside. You get the feeling this probably isn't the town's full population, but these are probably the more friendly or maybe community-connected members of the group. And you see Alfredo kind of lean up to Mateo and he goes, "Who's your friend?" And Mateo like blushes big and he's like, I just made a new friend today. This is Mezzaluna. I am Alfredo.
This is very nice to meet you, Alfredo.
I've known Mateo since he was this big. And he doesn't even hold out his hand.
Messalina kind of laughs at the fact that he did not hold out his hands or anything. Like, I assume you have lots of stories then.
Me and his ma used to run the little stand down the road there. But Mateo took it over and he's a much better cook than I ever was.
Yeah, does a wonderful job.
Yes, he does. Well, you youngsters, enjoy the lighting. It should be a nice show for everyone. And he kind of shuffles back, and Reggie waves to you, Dr. Cope. Hey, if it ain't the doctor.
It's the one and only.
You see Lorenzo kind of slide up next to you, Zyva, kind of like, "What's up?" There's maybe like a fist bump or something. If you return it, do you return that?
I do.
Cool. He just kind of chills next to you, and he doesn't say anything. He's just happy to be there. Nurse Joy sees Nurse Joya, and she smiles at you, and she shares a bond with you now that is only shared by people who share like a secret, one that they have to trust each other to keep. And you can tell she's not suspicious of you. And as you guys are all kind of getting to see each other, the lights slowly dim over Lazio, and we come to the end of the first day of this campaign. And because of you guys, because of the hard work you put in and the risk you put to yourself and your Pokemon, this place has light. And for the first time in a long time, some level of safety. And all these people just kind of like clasp their hands together and look just absolutely thrilled, just so pleased that their city is alight once again. And some of them exchange glances, happy glances at you guys. You guys look at each other and have this moment of peace and respite among this beautiful, beautiful place. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. Thank you all viewers for joining us for Lazio Island League Session 3. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.